welcome back to Chasing Butterflies. I'm here with Rhonda Dearman, and we are going to talk about her beautiful daughter, Gracie. Rhonda, I want you to, when you feel good, just tell me all about Gracie and her life and why we're here today.
Okay. Well, Gracie was obviously my youngest
beautiful.
until I got Jackson, who's 12 now. Yes, that's my beautiful daughter. I'm going to start when she was little, because if she had been my first child, she would have been my only child. She has been extra her whole life, so she was very demanding and very dramatic.
Yeah.
And she was that way forever. But, of course, she was one of the sweetest teenagers, I think. One of the most thoughtful people
Yeah.
I knew. And I always said I wanted to be just like her. So, because she was so kind and considerate and positive. So very positive about everything. And I was not, and I'm still not. I would like to be, but
Yeah.
I don't know where she got all that from. She
God.
was just so
Yeah.
happy. And very intuitive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Well, tell me what led to her passing.
well, Gracie was away at Texas Tech going to college. She was in her sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
It was in February, so she had been home for Christmas, and then she went off again to go back in February.
This is a freshman year?
Sophomore
year. Okay.
Sophomore year. It was a Sunday evening. She had been out earlier that day. I don't know how the sororities and the fraternity things work, but
Mm-hmm.
apparently when you need a date, when one set needs a date, the other set, there's like a pool or something, and
Yeah.
you go on this date with the person. But it's not really a date. It's just, to be that person with them. So she had gone somewhere that day with a young man that I don't think she knew very well. But anyway, she went and they had a good time, and then she left. She was done. She was supposed to call me because she was a shopper and she had a lot of style. So we were going to talk on the phone that night and pick out a new rug for the dining room. Anyway, I did get a call. And I thought it was her. It was not her. It was the hospital telling me to get there, that I needed to get there as fast as I could. Well, in Lubbock, planes don't
hard.
go all the time. So I kept asking, like, what happened? What's wrong? Is she okay? And they just kept repeating, you need to get here, you need to get here. So I looked to see if there was a flight, and there was. 30 minutes. In 30 minutes it would be leaving, and I lived in Seabrook, and that's at Intercontinental. So I knew I wouldn't make it. And I didn't know up until this point what happened yet. I didn't know until I was on my way. I was driving. I called my son to come over to be with Jackson because he was already asleep. And I'm driving, and the hospital called. It was the doctor. And he said that she had been hit by a drunk driver. And she had died in the ambulance and didn't have a heartbeat for 12 minutes. And then they got her back at the hospital, but she was in really bad shape. So I told him I was driving, and he said that he was going to stay on the phone with me until I got there. Like, I'm
wow.
like 8 hours away.
Yeah.
I would rather you go work on my daughter. So
Yeah.
we did hang up, and he called back again.
That was very sweet of him, though.
It was very sweet.
Because I can't imagine
I can't either.
that long of a drive by,
Yeah.
no.
He did try to get me to go back home. He's like, you need to stop. You need to turn around. You need to go home. Fly here tomorrow. And I just couldn't do it. I had to get there. That was my baby. And I still didn't understand really what her condition was.
Sure.
I didn't understand it really, but maybe in the back of my mind I did. I just knew I wanted to get there. So I kept driving, and he called again. Oh, I called her dad, who was in Odessa, and I said, Gracie's been in a car crash, and I need you to get to the hospital, because he was so much closer. So he left and went, and he made it there. The doctor called back and said, listen, I need to know what you want to do if she crashes again. Your ex-husband said to call you. He can't make that decision. And so I asked, like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And he goes, well, she's going to. I need to know what you want to do. If we bring her back, it's going to cause more damage to her body, broken ribs, and, her brain function is not what you would think it would be. And she had a lot of blood loss, and she was bleeding from her nose and mouth. And I'm trying to drive and put this together, thinking,
Yeah.
what is he really telling me right now? Because he wouldn't just come out and say anything. So I said, considering all the damage to her body, what you're telling me, and that if you did bring her back, she wouldn't be like she was before.
Right.
Then I'm going to have to say, no, don't. So that was a really hard decision to make, but I knew
I've been
my
there.
daughter would not want
Right.
to live that way. And I just couldn't say yes. Just knowing her, I couldn't say yes to him. So I pulled over after that. There was a little gas station in the middle of nowhere. And I pulled over and I just sat there and sobbed and cried because I knew what that meant.
Yeah.
And then I was crying, I was screaming. There were a few people around. There were 2 police officers getting gas in their cars, and I'm like, they're gonna come over here. So I didn't really care though. I just sat there and cried. And then I felt,
I just can't imagine having to do all that alone.
I know. in the
That's
middle of
horrible.
nowhere.
That's
It is.
horrible.
It was horrible. But I was praying and crying, and I finally just said, it's okay, Gracie. You can go. This is the hardest thing. I don't know if I've shared this. Well, I did share it in my statement. And when I said that, I just felt her all around me,
Yeah.
hugging me. I just felt so tingly and weird, and it was so hard, but I could feel her with me.
Yeah.
And then she was gone. And I cried a little bit more, but then I quit, and I just knew I had to get there. So I started driving again. And of course, I cried along the way, but it was just different because I knew she was gone, even though the hospital had not called to tell me
Right.
she was gone. It wasn't long after that, and they called and told me that she had passed away.
Were you still driving?
Yes, I was still driving.
Ugh.
So once, that was like the real confirmation. I was near Buc-ee's, and I stopped and went into Buc-ee's and called my son, who was at my house. I had called my mother earlier to ask her to go to my house so my oldest could leave. He was headed towards me, so I told him I was going to turn around and go back home and fly up in the morning because I hadn't made it very far, and he was already on his way to me. So I stayed there and waited for him, and then we drove the rest of the way to Lubbock. So most of that is just a blur. It was so hard to be so far away and not be with her.
Yeah.
And I think
I can't imagine.
all the time that I'm so grateful that her dad was there
Yeah.
with her when she left this world.
Yeah.
He was there when she came into this world and there when she left. And I was a little jealous that I wasn't with her, but I don't know. I mean, God has a reason, right?
Yeah.
Why I was so far away.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was still to this day, but maybe because I couldn't see her that way. So, but
Maybe.
in the shape that she was in. Going there, getting there, talking to the detective and her friends, and having to go and pick up her things from the medical examiner. I guess that's what they're
Yeah.
called. That was difficult.
Yeah, I bet.
Packing her dorm room was difficult.
So did you get to see her at all?
No, and I didn't ask to see her.
Mm.
I tend to focus on kind of the last thing, like the last whatever we did last.
Sure.
And I wanted to remember her as that beautiful, vibrant
Yes.
self. I did not want to see her body broken in her face, no life in it. I just think I would focus on that forever if I had seen that.
Yeah.
So I, not that I was offered to see her, she was already at the other place to have an autopsy, and
Sure.
I didn't want to see her then, but once I'm home, thankfully I know somebody that has a funeral home who called, and I just couldn't speak. Words weren't coming out. I could not say that she had passed away. I was just like trying to whisper it out of my mouth, and he said, "I will take care of everything if you will sign a paper letting me." And I was like, yes. So I had no idea what you do, what he did. I just know that he got her home so we could have a funeral for her. And when we went to plan that, I made sure, like, it has to be a closed casket.
I did the same for my son.
I cannot see her.
Yeah.
I do not want to see her.
Yeah.
I invited my ex-husband and her sister from him and niece to come and help plan that with me. I wanted them to have a say, and my ex-husband kept asking about, can you tell that she has injuries, and I'm just like, if you don't stop talking about this, you've got to leave, or I have to leave. I can't hear it, and I don't want to see it. So
Yeah.
I just could not bring myself to that. I did not.
I don't blame you.
Did not want to see her.
I mean, the only reason I saw Chase is because, we were called to Herman from Clear Lake, so that short little drive compared to yours, and all I could think is, get me here faster, get me. I can't imagine what was going through your head, but I was able to be with him when they took him off the machines. I was protected somehow because I didn't see the injuries that, one of the friends I've spoken with, her son took his own life, and she said, I didn't see anything but his beautiful face, and she's the one that found him. So I can't imagine, everybody that knows what's going to protect them, and you were probably smart for doing that, but I did the same thing. No open casket, no.
Yeah.
I was like, I want them to remember my beautiful boy, not what happened, think of him differently. But I was at the funeral, and because Elliot could not be there because she was in college, so she asked me to go, and I went with Tisa Foster, and we sat there, and y'all did a beautiful job with the stuffed animals, and it was very touching, very touching.
The stuffed animal thing came about because when I got there, I met her sorority advisor, I guess is her name, who really took care of us also. She had our hotel for us ready when we got there, and she met us up there, and she was asking or talking about Gracie, and then talking about the stuffed animals in Casa, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she goes, she didn't tell you? And I said, no, I don't know. And she said she started a stuffed animal drive for Casa within the sorority. So she
That's
posted
beautiful.
And she advertised that they needed them, that because kids get, kids that are taken away from parents. And,
Sure.
Going through adoption with their foster parents, get to adopt a stuffed animal when they're adopted for their forever family. When the little kid gets their forever family, and I was just like, that just doesn't surprise me at all. So I say that was her last living act of kindness, because there's been plenty of acts of kindness after her death. So I invited people to bring a stuffed animal to the funeral because it had not. She started for after Valentine's Day, and I just wanted to see if, put that out there for people.
It's
to
beautiful.
Bring. And they did bring.
Yeah, they did.
Stuffed animals were brought. So
there was a lot there.
I think we had a little over 1,600 stuffed
Wow.
animals.
I didn't think it was that much, but I knew it was a lot.
They were mailed to the house, and they were at the viewing too. Well, I mean, I don't know what that's called because you didn't.
Yeah, there was no view. Yeah.
There was a picture of her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. But it was just
Yeah.
like her to do something and me not know about it.
That's awesome.
So,
She didn't want credit.
no.
You know,
not.
she was like, "I'm doing this because my heart's kind," and that, you know, that's a beautiful thing. We need more people like Gracie. I can tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, I thought she was special always, but I had no idea, really.
I remember the girls modeling. Maybe it was for the Clear Creek Independent.
Foundation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I hadn't seen her, I mean, because I don't hang around the school or whatever, but I hadn't seen her since intermediate school, and I was like, who is that? She is stunning. Elliot goes, that's Gracie Dearman. I was like, what? I mean, she was always pretty and cute, but she was a woman, you know,
Yeah.
and she was really pretty. I always said she could have been a model,
Well,
honestly.
I
What?
thought she was beautiful. This picture of her and I here is the last picture I have of us. That
Oh,
was literally right before she got in the car to leave. We were at my sister-in-law's birthday party, and she was leaving to go back to Tech.
aren't you glad that y'all took the pictures?
Oh my gosh!
I don't take enough pictures.
I don't take pictures. I still don't. But she took so many pictures, and I would just get on her like, "How many pictures of yourself do you need?" And I'm so glad she took them all.
Yeah.
So I could have them.
All those memories, yeah.
Yeah. So that was good.
So, obviously there was somebody that caused this heartbreak.
Yeah.
Can you tell me anything about any of that stuff? I don't need any names. I don't want.
Well, I always call him AZP. His name is Anthony Zane Palente,
Mm-hmm.
and I say AZP. He was 19, and he had been drinking all day at his grandparents' house, and then left. So I said it was a Sunday afternoon. It was about 8:30 Sunday evening,
Okay.
and her and her roommate had just gone to Sonic to get a what do they call it? Sonic, the little ice cream drink.
Mm-hmm.
They go on sale at 8 o'clock. So
Oh,
when
yeah.
you're a poor college student,
Yeah.
you wait on those sales. They had just went to get one of those, and then her friend was driving her to the boy that she was seeing, Gracie. That Gracie was seeing. They were about a mile away from his house, and Anthony ran a red light and hit them. And her friend was driving. Gracie was the passenger, and he hit on the driver's side. Her friend had a few injuries, concussion and hurt shoulder and some stuff like that. But he was arrested that night and stayed in jail for about 6 weeks, and then they made bond. They lowered his bond, and he was able to get out. And it took forever for court. We had court almost 5 years in, maybe 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
And he accepted a plea deal, so it was 10 years and up for parole. Probably would get out in 5 years. So I read my statement, and I really thought about my daughter when I wrote that statement. It took a long time. It was really hard to write.
I bet, yeah.
But I couldn't write it to him. And from statements I hear, most of them are written to the person that caused it.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't write him a letter. I had to write it to my daughter and just tell her how I felt and how much we missed, and together what we were missing and still will
Mm-hmm.
miss. I don't even know what all we'll miss. It just hits me. When we moved, I'm going to back up a little bit. When we moved, packing her room, a friend came and helped me pack her room. And she had this little bulletin board about the size of this picture in her room, and it had all kinds of stuff on it. And it had a little piece that would slide back and forth. And one was like a marker board, and then behind it was a cork board. And when she moved it, there was a pink piece of paper there, and it was all about Gracie. And it had her name at the top, and then the G and something, an R and something.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know what that is, and I taught English. I don't remember what that's called.
Yeah.
But on the back of it, it said, Gracie is just a girl who wants to make a mark on this world. Gracie wants to make a difference. And in my statement, reading it out to Anthony, because I stared straight at him while I read it. As much as I could. I cried most of it, but at the very end, I addressed him and said, I want to challenge you to be like my daughter and make a difference
That's
in this
beautiful.
world. Learn from this. Do something about it when you get out. That's my prayer for you, to learn and grow from this. And
That's very, very brave of you.